Y'all know something's gotta be updated or something's gotta be talked about if I'm doing another episode of the MAWBR Podcast, especially this soon. Because the last one happening just this past August 11th, I believe. Yeah, had to have been because of the YouTube anniversary, but I wanted to do a certain follow-up to the episode that I did back in November of last year. I can't remember which episode it was. It's either 5th or somewhere around there. But back in November of last year, I finally sat down here at my desk, recorded myself just in one recording, no edits, no notes, nothing. Just sat down and finally opened up about all the stuff that my ex put me through from from around July-ish of 2021 up until what happened in March 2022. I admit, I was very emotional. And if you know the whole situation, you probably understand why, hopefully. But for anybody who did not see that video, like I said, it's over 30 minutes long, and I have a hard time listening to it back without getting any chills or ill feelings in my body, because I could just hear the pain and the agony in my voice. But let me catch you all up to speed on what happened. So, I'm going to try to do the best I can recap instead of doing the whole long story. Summer 2021, my best friend Robin introduced me to her friend, who I'm going to refer to simply as Red within this episode. Because at that point, I'd been single for almost 5 years straight. And Red, she had some stuff going on in her life in the past, trying to get herself back on track and everything. And she thought, hey, you've been single for a while, you might get along with my friend, who they were actually living together at the time, surprisingly. So, it seemed like things were going to be cool first, but then once the relationship happened, I saw a lot of toxic traits. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, constant accusations of cheating towards me, because she kept thinking I was cheating on her with Robin. It's just like, if something was going to happen with her, it would have happened before the relationship happened or anything. I'm not going to jump in a relationship and then do something behind your back. Doesn't make sense, especially when I was single for almost 5 years. Constantly ghosting me to make me feel like I didn't matter to her. Just looking for reasons to pick a fight, so on and so forth. The relationship only lasted a little over a month. By early September, like I said, especially with the constant ghosting problem, I just said this is not going to work. And just called it off. Well, then you give to January, February-ish of 2022. We're talking. It seems like we're making up. And we even agreed to be each other's Valentines on Valentine's Day. First time I had done so in 10 years. And we seemed to think we were going to give it another shot and work on stuff, but then her toxic traits started appearing up again. And it got to the point where she was trying to manipulate me into distancing myself from my best friend. Just out of pure jealousy. Oh, I don't like how close you are with Robin. So you're gonna get on my case for being close to somebody who legitimately saved my life in 2019 when I was at rock bottom. I'm not gonna choose you over her. Plain and simple. I'm gonna stick with a person who I have a long history with. Plain and simple, like with all that stuff. I think that's completely justified, right? Being loyal to somebody who's saved your life during your darkest time. And my ex ended up getting so upset that as a result, she, in realizing her attempt to manipulate me failed, she jumped into another man's car by the end of March 2022 and drove off, and I have not heard from her ever since. Which also scrapped any future plans, because she said she was going to give me something for my birthday that year. Never happened, because it was shortly after this. And she was planning to fly out here after the 4th of July 2022, because I think you could tell what she wanted to do. But, of course, that never happened either. Now, I'm making this update because I wanted to talk about some updates, as well as the fact that I feel like now all this time has passed, I can finally start to talk about this without emotions. I feel like that video I made, I do not regret making it at all, and I'm not going to take it down, because I feel like that was the way for me to finally release what I had bottled up for so long in a way to finally move on, because I had never verbalized what had happened. I made posts on social media before about this, but I never spoke directly about what happened and everything, and just letting it all out, because again, I had that stuff bottled up for over a year and a half. But I wanted to give updates because there surprisingly have been some. Because I've also, since then, around during the summer, I ended up finally getting myself a journal, which was recommended by Kevin. Kevin, if you're listening to this, thank you. And he suggested that I start writing down like all these different entries about past trauma and everything in order to try to like write out my thoughts and everything. And the second ever entry that I had in here was about my ex, which ended up being 4 pages long. I know, kind of crazy there. Probably one of the longest posts or entries that I made. But since then, as of a little over a month ago, I did get updates about my ex because of certain stuff that happened. So, with my ex, I'll say this: when she was living with Robin, she had a cat who, after my ex was kicked out of the house and everything because of what she did, Robin kept her cat, feeling like, hey, she's going to be better off in my care. Well, since then, the cat had an accident and had to get work done. So Robin thought that, hey, even though there's still turmoil there, I feel like Red has the right to know about what happened to her cat. And it's like, okay, that's completely justified. I mean, that was her pet. So they met up and they started talking and everything. And Robin brought up my name to Red, and surprisingly, Red asked how I was doing. Which does not make sense to me because you could have found out if you actually reached out to me. And of course, she's been given updates and everything. And from what I hear, she is ashamed of what she did when she ran off and left. And the only reason she has not reached out to me is because she's afraid of how I react. First of all, if you really felt ashamed for what you did, you would not have made those posts on social media of yourself with the guy who you left me for. I still have seen those posts and everything, so if you're really ashamed, you would not have been projecting forth what you had done, essentially, to the world without going into full details, but being kind of vague about it. About the fact that you ran off with another man. And also, fear of talking to me and everything because you're afraid of how I'd react. I mean, I think I'm completely justified with still being absolutely unhappy with you for what you did. Especially because of the level of betrayal that you committed. I mean, think about this for a second. My ex is like around 28, 29 right now. I can't remember the exact age, but it's somewhere in there. And she still is driven by fear. Like, I get it. She went through stuff in the past. She went through trauma and everything. But it's just like, things are never going to get settled if you keep staying silent. In order to have some kind of closure or anything like that, you have to put the effort forward to talk to the person, especially when that person that should be talked to is the one you majorly done wrong. I mean, think about this for a second. She had an incident with Robin where things got physical. There was actually a physical altercation between the two. So, hold on a second here. You've made more of an effort to reach out to somebody who you used to live with, badmouth behind their back, and you've gone into a physical altercation with, but you won't reach out to the guy whose heart you broke. Like, think about that for a second. The damage you caused screwed me up for 2 years. It took until this past spring for me to finally start to feel like I was finally recovering because of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. So if you really felt ashamed or anything like that, you would put your quote-unquote fear aside and actually reach out. Because again, I have not had you blocked on Facebook this entire time, but yet you have not reached out even once in the last 2.5 years. So it's just like, I thought we were going to finally get a call because Robin said she wanted to sit down, have Red with her in the car, so like a video call and everything through like either Snapchat or Facebook or whatever, and have this sit down talk and finally get the closure. Because we were talking about this like over a month ago, back around late July. But yet, here it is, beginning September, and still nothing has been accomplished. It's like, I kept having times where I kept thinking about reaching out to Red through Facebook, but I just keep thinking to myself, will there be any point? Like, will there be any point of reaching out to her? How do I know that she actually feels remorse? How do I know she actually feels bad for what she did? Especially when you look at what's happened since then. No attempts to reach out to me, but she'll reach out to the person who she got into a physical altercation with, used to live with, badmouth behind her back, so on and so forth. Like, I don't understand this. I mean, she ditched the two people that had her back the most in life. and just boom. I mean, I'm even looking through my journal again just to remind myself about all this stuff again, because like I made a second entry just about a couple weeks ago, and it's just like it's hard for me to just wrap my head around this stuff. Like let's say there is a scream. Let's say that she and I did talk, and I did scream at her. Would I be wrong? Honestly, would I be wrong to just let it all out and finally give her a piece of my mind for what she did? Because to my recollection, she does not understand the severity of what her actions caused. She does not know the damage that she caused just by ditching me the way that she did. And the fact that it's been over a month and I get told, oh, we're going to try to set up a call and everything, and still nothing? No call has been made, no updates, have not heard from Red in a one-on-one basis? Because it's like, I've got questions that I wrote here in my journal of things that I just wanted to finally have answered. It's like, why were you constantly thinking I was cheating on you? Why were you ghosting me? I mean, especially on our 1 month anniversary, I didn't hear from you for most of the day, of all things, and you thought taking time to watch YouTube videos like in a binge mode was more of a priority? Why were you impossible to please? Like, no matter what I said or did, nothing was ever enough. Or, why did you get on my case about helping Robin out with money? Like, let's think about it. You didn't want to help her out with money. Because, like, I get it. You were going through financial stuff. But somebody had to, like, pay for gas and everything in that car when she was trying to get you to and from work. She stepped up to make sure you got to and from work when your prior ride abandoned you. She stepped up to make sure you got to your dream job, which I then also found out recently that she deliberately started skipping work before she got fired, so that explains why she ended up losing her job around the time that she left. But it's like, I'm trying to help get gas in the car because, again, you're not helping out financially, and I get you're going through stuff because of other personal stuff too, but it's like, to get on my case for helping out? It's like, no. If you're upset that I didn't help you out with money, it's because you didn't say anything. And then you later on admit that you're terrible with you don't like asking for help, and you're terrible with communication. It's like, that's your own problem. Don't take it out on me for your own issue. That's something you gotta work on yourself, okay? I'm helping, like, we are both helping you out in our own ways, legitimately trying to help better you and, like, make things easier for you, but yet nothing was enough because it just seemed like you were finding something to always pick a fight about. And I even put, other questions I put in here was like, why did you want Robin out of my life so badly despite her saving my life? I'm not going to choose you over somebody who I've had a long history with for over a decade now. Because like I said, I would have to be heartless to abandon somebody who stopped me from taking my own life during the darkest period of my life back in 2019. Alright, there's history there. I'm not going to choose you over her. Flat out. And the last one I even said was, why did you abandon me for another guy and essentially feel no remorse? Because again, like I said, I saw the social media posts. Pretty much bragging, saying like about being in bed with the guy and him making you a mess and everything because of what you two did together. If you really felt remorse or anything, you wouldn't have made those posts in the first place, and it was right after you left. And they're still there on social media to this day. And again, it does not make sense how you make more of an effort to reach out to Robin. Like I said, for the reasons I mentioned before, physicality, bad-mouthing, so on and so forth. The very woman that put the roof over your head when you had nowhere to go and nothing going on in your life. You make more of an effort to reach out to her, but you won't say one word directly to the guy whose heart you shattered and who you destroyed for 2 years. Like I said, if it wasn't for Kevin right now, I don't know where I would be. He helped me get my head on straight and finally get back on track. And I also have to thank DJ. If you're listening to this, also thank you, especially with our recent talk we just had. It's just like, there's no hope with this woman, period. Like, I kept wanting closure. Like, I wanted to finally talk to her just to get some unanswered, like, questions finally taken care of so that I can finally feel peace in a way because of what happened. And also, like, just finally get stuff off my chest. Like, I wanted to finally give her peace of my mind and make her fully understand what she did and the severity and everything, the damage that she caused. But it's just like, you look at all these circumstances, it's just like, it's becoming clear it's not going to happen. At this point, it's been over a month since I heard that she wanted to have a talk and, like, had to sit down talk and everything, but she's made no effort to do so. There's been no updates. So, like, it's pretty clear now it's just never going to happen. And if she does try to suddenly contact me out of nowhere, most likely I'm going to get mad at her. Just because it's taken so long, and just this whole playing around type stuff of being like, let's talk, no, let's not, and set something up and all that shit. Like, I'm not here to play games of just tiptoeing around all this stuff. It's like, I wanted to finally get closure and finally get peace from what happened. But the fact that it's been almost 2.5 years and still nothing, and you look at these other circumstances, it's just like, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's coming evidently clear that it's just like, there's never going to be that closure now. Period. Like, I'm now at the point where I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to hear from her. I don't want her to reach out to me. And if she does, chances are I'm probably going to snap at her. Just because of how long it's taken and all this crap. It's just like, I can't trust her. And there's no guarantee that she's going to fully fathom the severity of what she did. She's not going to fully understand that she destroyed me, and it took me 2 years to recover just because of how bad the betrayal was. Probably the worst betrayal I've ever gone through, personally. But it's just like I said to my ex, in that last video aimed at my ex, fuck you. Plain and simple. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You are one of the absolute worst people I've ever known. You do not deserve happiness. Plain and simple. Happiness is more deserving for people who are actually good in the world. And you're not. Flat out. You can say that you have remorse or anything, but the fact that you still are silent to me to this day, I have a hard time believing it, because if you did feel remorse, you would put that quote-unquote fear aside and actually reach out. Because like I said, you're only a few years younger than me. I tried to help you, give you advice or anything to also get your head on straight, to try to motivate you to, improve on your life and everything, but it just went in one ear, out the other. I don't know if you were going through, a manic episode or something around the time that you left due to stuff that was going on, but it's the fact that you decided that the best option at that point was just to run away instead of talking like an adult. It's no. Unacceptable. So, hopefully I'm going to do everything in my power. I might have to even put a sticky note to be don't talk about my ex ever again, because it's just there's no point now. I'm not going to bother reaching out to her. I don't want to even hear from her ever, period. There's clearly not going to be that closure, because if so, it would have finally happened by now. But there's been no effort on her part. So that should just go to show who she is. So anyway, and like I said just a bit ago, special shout out and thank yous to both Kevin and DJ for talking, and especially Kevin for helping get my head back on straight, because he saw how bad, he saw and heard the video that I posted last year, so he could tell how badly I was hurting. Like I said, I've listened back to that video and I give myself chills just listening back to the audio, because I could just hear the pain in my voice just listening back to just how badly I was hurting by that point. I mean, if you've heard the audio of that episode and you listen to this one, you can probably tell the difference. I'm not screaming and dropping every swear word in the book. I dropped a few here in this recording and everything, but that's about it. Not as bad. So anyway, let me know what y'all thought in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Thanks for listening, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, and good day, everybody.